Hello everyone, it's Lori Bradley and I'm here in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and it is time for Fun Fold Friday. We are going to make a fun Dutch door card today. Like if you've seen the doors that close just on the bottom or the top separately, but we're going to take that top piece and we're going to make it the front focal piece of our card. I'm using the Textured Notes bundle today. Really fun bundle, along with the Woven Textures Designer Series paper. So if you're wondering what I'm using, that's what I've got today. And I did do a couple of things ahead of time because I know you don't want to sit here and watch me cut paper, but with scissors in small pieces. So here we go. My first piece is a half sheet of cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4, so just in half. But I'm going to take a little, I'm gonna make a dot, and I want to cut this at 2 3/4. So I'm gonna just make a little mark at 2 3/4. You could do that with a pencil. I don't happen to have a pencil laying here. And then we're going to put that on our track to cut that. I lost my mark here. All right, there it is. All right, we're gonna put that on the mark. And we're going to cut all the way to the center line, okay? So the little mark on the side of our trimmer blade, that's where we want to go right to the middle. Okay, now we're gonna turn it and we're going to cut from that cut line up to the top along the score line. And you can do it top to bottom or bottom to top, whichever you prefer. And I'm just going to, if you cut from the bottom to the top, then you got your line perfect. Let's see, there we go. So we have this panel. All right, so our card will actually fold just like that. So that's the bottom, the Dutch door part. Okay, let me put my trimmer aside and let's make this card. All right, so we have this particular piece and we're gonna decorate I have a white panel that I'm ready to put on there. That's gonna be our focal point on the front. And I'm going to use the Textured Note stamp set, like I said. I'm gonna use the little basket circle and I'm going to stamp that just, right about there. Okay. Then I'm going to keep my crumb cake ink and I'm going to use that for this particular leaf. Now, I used this leaf also with Lost Lagoon ink and I've already cut that out. So we're gonna use this piece also. So I didn't wanna have to switch inks and then for you to have to see me cut it. For this part, I'm gonna stamp off because I don't want this one to be quite as dark. I'm gonna go off my page just a little bit and I'm gonna do that again right over here, just so I've got a little bit of color down in the bottom of my rectangle, okay? Set that aside. Then I'm gonna bring in, whoops, goodness. I'm gonna bring in the smaller leaf and I'm gonna use Lost Lagoon ink for this one. And again, I don't want it to be super harsh and super bright, so I'm just gonna stamp that right in there. This is not the main part of our card, so the stamping is not the most important part, but we're going to attach that to the Lost Lagoon piece that we just cut from our base. So this piece is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So this one would be 2.5 by 4 1/2. Just to keep that nice 1/4 inch border around the bottom, around the outside, sorry. Now, I've already cut a piece of the Woven Textures Designer Series paper that's also 2.5 by 4 1/4, just like this piece, 2.5 by 4 1/4. So it's all the same. And I'm going to put that onto the front. We could have used the brighter pattern, but I'm gonna use the more subtle one. Put that right on the front. So there's our front Dutch part of the Dutch door, just the bottom part. Now, we are going to put this piece on the front. Okay, it's gonna be kind of right in this, actually, so you can see it better. Let's go with the white piece. We're gonna have a white panel 4 by 5 1/4 on the inside. And I'm gonna put that there. But you know what? Let's decorate that just a little bit. Let me get that leaf back over here. I'm gonna stamp off, maybe do a little piece there. And then let's do one of the Lost Lagoon pieces as well. Just to add a little bit of pretty on the inside of our card. We don't want it to be too plain. And this way, if I do this part first, you can actually see where we're gonna center it. Oh my goodness, I just got ink on my finger. And I already put adhesive. Heavens to Betsy. Always have an extra piece of 4 by 5 1/4 cardstock laying around, and actually that's 3 3/4. It'll work. All right, let's try this one more time. Keep my fingers out of the ink. Do as I say, not as I do, right? All right, and we'll do our, oh goodness, that frazzled me just a little bit. As you can tell, this is not a live video. You'd think it was, with crazy mistakes, but all right, let's try this one more time. My fingers are clean. We're going to glue this onto the inside of the card. Now, like I said, this one is a little bit smaller, but we're gonna go with it just because it was handy. All right, now we're gonna put this piece right in the middle, just like this. So we wanna make sure that we just get our ink right on the bottom. Our ink, oh my goodness, our adhesive. So let's just put that about, not quite half, maybe the lower third. And we're just gonna center that right on our card. Just like that. Now you'll see these stems. These stems are gonna be hidden because we are going to glue the leaf that's the same as this one, but it's in Lost Lagoon ink. And I'm just gonna glue that on right here. I'm gonna put a couple of drops of glue on the bottom. I've been out of town for 2 weeks. My husband and I were on vacation, and we were in Germany, which was amazing. But getting back into the routine of life is a little bit crazy. So I'm gonna just put a couple of dimensionals right at the top so it has a little bit, it's not quite so flat, a little bit of texture. We're gonna put that on right about here maybe. So it's gonna overlap those other leaves. You can decorate this however, if you wanted to use another piece of designer series paper, that's absolutely okay. And I actually already stamped and die cut this particular piece as well, just the sentiment. This says, "You are seriously the best," and I'm going to put that on dimensionals, but I'm going to tie a little piece of linen thread on the back just to add a little pizzazz. So we have our fun fold that's a Dutch door, and we want to make it, you know, a little fancier. All right, I'm just gonna tie a couple of loops, not really a bow. Just like that. We'll tape that right on the back. Now this could be a little tricky because using Scotch tape for this, which is my usual go-to, you have to make sure it's narrow because this die cut is actually quite skinny. There we go. And then we're going to use dimensionals on each side of that to support our sentiment piece. Go. All right, so this is super fancy. There's no waste of your half sheet of paper because that top piece comes right out of there. And again, you can decorate it however you'd like. I'm gonna center that right there. All right, now last thing, let's use some neutral matte dots. These are also from that particular suite. Let's add a couple of those just to a little bit more oomph on our card. Should have had these open, I guess. Open already. I'm going to use, I think these are actually pecan pie, but there's white, black, vanilla, and pumpkin pie. I'm going to use the little pumpkin, oh my goodness, pecan pie ones, because that blends in there with my crumb cake. And then let's put one maybe up here. All right, so there we have it. We've got the Dutch door that opens like that. This particular piece on the front is the piece that we cut out of this top section. So 8.5 by 5.5, and then this is cut down at 2 3/4 to that score line at 4 1/4, and there's your extra piece. And there's my original sample as well. So I hope that you enjoyed today's Fun Folds, and I will see you back next week. Next week is the 4th of July, so maybe I'll do a red, white, and blue for Fun Fold Friday next week. Have a great rest of your week. Have a good weekend.